Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly dungeon master today, because today we're going to be kicking off a war story in our ongoing Night Below campaign. That will be continuing on with the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024-2025 edition that we have been playing. But we're going to be playing characters in a different city, a little further south from our regular Night Below campaign, in a city called Westkeep. And our campaign is called The Orphans of Westkeep. I'm going to go the order I've got everybody on the screen here. They'll be playing third level characters, and I'll invite everybody to tell us who they are and who they're playing. So, going left to right here. First up, we've got Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I am playing Routh, and he is a barbarian sailor.
Very nice. What type of barbarian is he?
He follows the path of the world tree.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I am John, and I'm playing Nasira Mournwater. She is a human druid at the Circle of the Stars, and she is also a sailor, but I like to call her a swamp witch.
Very nice. Next up is our resident armor smith, currently on hiatus due to a workers' compensation claim.
You know, I don't pay attention.
I guess it'd be ACC, Artisans Compensation Claim.
Yeah. I don't get paid for my work. Oh, I guess I do something.
It's Dave.
But yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave. I'm playing Talandir. She is a wood elf, monk, and wayfarer.
Very nice. What kind of monk is she?
Warrior of the Elements.
Ooh, very cool. Next up is Andrew.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew, and keeping it with small characters for this one. I'm playing Gillian Tossfeather, a halfling bardlock, which is a new thing for me. We'll see how this goes.
Very nice. I will point out too, I did give a more like cool looking option for Andrew's profile picture, and he's like, nope, I want the tubby musician. So he's going full halfling for the war story.
It was the mutton chops that really did it for me.
Yeah.
Can't get away from those.
For Andrew's next character, we're going to force him to play like a Goliath tank or something like that. There you go.
Yeah,
This is only my second small character, for heaven's sakes. Like, I'm not as bad as certain other, streamer guys playing on streaming channels who have a habit of small characters. We won't go there.
All right, and last but certainly not least is Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'll be playing Ilya Bogatyr. He is a human noble, Warlock 2, Fighter 1.
Very nice. So hold on, the Warlock, well, I guess what pact? Because you do get that at first level, right?
No, not in the new rules. Everything comes at third for the specializations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, everything comes at third for all classes.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
oh.
I know what my pact is going to be.
So was it mages that before used to get at level 2, and then you'd have your pact at level 1 for the Warlock?
And I think Paladins picked up.
I know the pact was level 1 for Warlock, and you could only have one pact. In the 2024 rules, you can actually take all 3 packs.
Oh, wow.
But you don't choose your patron until level 3.
Okay, got it. Yeah, the nomenclature for the different Warlock things I'm not familiar with, or else I just don't remember them well enough now. No. All right, so then, guys, we, for those listening at home, this campaign, if you're not familiar with our Night Below campaign takes place, at least it is, the current year is Common Year 590. It is about 4 years after the Greyhawk Wars have ended, and in our campaign, let me maybe head to the Darlene map here. Yeah, I really got to clean up these pages a little bit. Let's bring everybody over here. So our other campaign has taken place for 250, almost 250 sessions. Well, if we count the war stories, definitely more than 250, but our campaign has largely taken place here in the Yeomanry. Where we are turning our attention now is a little further south here, around here in the Hold of the Sea Princes. The Hold of the Sea Princes is has been it was at one point a fort for the wider Kingdom of Keoland, when Keoland had a wider influence on some of these other ones. The Yeomanry, Jeff and Starrick, the Grand March, the Duchy, County, and Principality of Ulek were all part of Keoland before. I can't remember if Bissell was. And there was a hold, a fort of Keoland where Westkeep currently is located. But for several hundred years, it has effectively been an independent pirate kingdom. There have been various efforts to try and retake the land, particularly Westkeep. Most recently, about 150 years ago, when King Tavish III tried to invade to kind of put an end to piracy and died in the siege of Westkeep. And he did not die well. It was a sickness relating to the Hool marshes through which he had to march his armies. But the most recent occupier has been the Scarlet Brotherhood. The Greyhawk Wars started about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So they ended about 4 or 5 years ago. And during that kind of continent-wide conflict, the Scarlet Brotherhood emerged from secrecy and conquered a bunch of places where previously they had just had secret influence through the scene, the back of the scene. Our heroes during the occupation. Oh, Westkeep's on the map here. Look at that. There's Westkeep right there. Westkeep is, you'll notice, inland a little bit. There is a river that goes down to it, and there is a proper port for Westkeep, but Westkeep does not really have the same kind of the river leading down to it is not nearly as navigable as what the others are. So it's like barges and boats and things like that that bring the any goods up to Westkeep. Westkeep is primarily a mining community with a large farming contingent around it. Let me bring you on over to we use it for our map of Westkeep. I got my what map is that on? And I was testing out my image. I've also cut and pasted one onto here. So this is Westkeep. This is really about representing about an eighth of the population of, I'm sorry, not an eighth, about a quarter of the population that lives around here. The most significant place here is, and I think it's Neff Mansion, which acts as kind of where the mayor, the Lord Mayor, rules over here. Surrounding this is where a lot of the farmlands come from. So if your character happens to come from a farming community, it is probably not far off from here. Most notable structures that are in here include the garrison, for one, which does have a strong contingent of the believers of Hieronymus, who is kind of like a warrior god, but for good. They have begun to reestablish themselves now that the Scarlet Brotherhood has been thrown out. It's been about 2 or 3 months since the Scarlet Brotherhood was cast out. And the reason they were cast out of this particular city, they still have control over the Hold of the Sea Princes. The reason they've been cast out of here is because of yet another invasion from Keoland, this time successful. Not on this map are the occupying army and the 3 sort of divisions of forces that are still stationed here. But the things that are of most interest to you guys, and what you've heard about through some of your rumors and your backstory, the Emporium, which some of you have contacts to, is right here at number 1. The Emporium is it is a woman named Zalamandra who set that up before the occupation by the Scarlet Brotherhood. And Zalamandra, it's basically like a all classes of social status who want to have a good time and want to spend some coin, there are different levels of enjoyment. This is places for culture and comfort, is primarily what you're going to get at the Emporium for the full spectrum of your interests. So this is a place that is very popular with the miners who occupy Westkeep. There is the Feral Dog, which several of you have contacts with. That's right here. Easily the roughest drinking joint in town. If you have a contact at the Feral Dog, you are probably a very tough individual, because the Feral Dog gets its name in part from the dog fighting pit that is located in the center that sometimes people fall into and do not come out of. Other important things.
Right across the street. That's charming.
Yep. It's also right next to the Church of St. Cuthbert. Mining and the ownership of mines is a big thing here, but it has not been active for quite some time. It wasn't just the occupation of the Scarlet Brotherhood. There is a larger mining complex about a day's travel away that has largely gone defunct. The other things you need to know is it's sort of close to everything, but sort of away from everything as well. It is relatively easy to get to other places in the Hold of the Sea Princes. It's relatively easy to get to access to the sea. So the other two, I guess, noteworthy things on the outside of here that your characters may have contact with, well, one of them you definitely do is the Bronzewood Lodge. Bronzewood Lodge is an ancient structure of mynheers that serve as a center of the Old Faith and Obed High and some of the older religions that are featured in the Greyhawk setting. And there is also a place that is the Twilight Monastery, which is dedicated to, I can't remember what goddess. Well, we don't need to worry about it for now because you're not going to get there today. But there is another. Actually, I'll look it up because it's going to drive me nuts. Otherwise, the goddess associated with that is,
Not
let's see, Zaghi, Zanye, the goddess of twilight, stealth, and shadows, a Backloonish goddess, which of interest, which is pretty far north from where the Backloonish individuals lie. Each of you has a rumor, and I invite you to incorporate that into over the course of our campaign, if you'd like. Other places you may want to be aware of. There's some of you have contacts with, or at least, well, no, one of you has a contact with the sheriff. Sheriff's office is located right there. It would be sort of widely known there is a conflict between the sheriff and the garrison. There is also a place called the Spinning Plate located right there. Another tavern. It is much more frequented by the garrison than it is by other folks, but it is also if you want just a good drinking joint, that is probably where you'd want to reside. Now, one of the things we know about your characters is that you are all members of the resistance against the Scarlet Brotherhood. Let's maybe start with each of you telling us why your character joined the resistance. And why don't we go right to left this time? So, Will, why did Ilya join the resistance?
So, when the Scarlet Brotherhood moved in, they kind of had a Night of Long Knives type scenario, and they slaughtered a whole bunch of the nobles and their families. And so Ilya lost his family and was left for dead and was dying. And so that's where he met his future patron. That's where he took his first warlock level to wreak vengeance on those who had destroyed basically his life.
What has been his cover over these years then?
What's that now?
What's been his cover over these years?
His cover?
Yeah.
Basically a bounty hunter has been his cover, is what he's been traveling as.
Okay. Gilliam. Why did you become a member of the Resistance?
This one, well, you guys all know this was kind of last minute, but I think so. Like John will share later, that keeping with the theme, a bit of a twist on it. That Gillian is an orphan by virtue of nobody's dead, but his family's dead to him. So working on the family farm and such, when he'd always kind of been a bit different and treated as such by his family. There was a bit of tension there, but we all kind of figured our stuff out. But when the occupation began, turns out that his family kind of went along with everything and turned in their neighbors, whether or not their neighbors were doing anything wrong, whether for profit or for survival, bit a combination of both. But either way, Gillian was horrified and disgusted by this, and so he left his family behind to start a new life, but kept that bitterness and anger both at the occupation, but also what it cost him. Found his way to the Emporium, where he performed to make ends meet, and just through that process and the networks and people who came in and out, kind of learned about and discovered and was introduced to the Resistance, and found it as a way to try to search for some absolution, to try to make up for his family's sins, which he's still not sure he's found yet.
If Ilya worked as a bounty hunter, does that mean he was turning in people to the Scarlet Brotherhood, or was he finding people and helping them get away?
That was kind of the cover, is to work for the bad guys, because his relationship with the sheriff is really what it boils down to, and he knows about the sheriff, and so that's kind of what he was doing.
Okay,
but in reality, instead of hunting somebody down, well, somebody accidentally got in the way. Yeah.
Well, which would, I imagine, put him at odds with his patron too. So it's got to have been a conflicted bunch of years.
Although Mephistopheles is like, yes, send me more evil people that are evil already, so I can put them in the blood war.
So, for Talandir, why'd you join?
Not sure in the right group. So Talandir is a wood elf who came to Westkeep because traveling merchants had made it sound like Westkeep was this great and wonderful place, and commerce and all these opportunities for people. And then she got there, and it was just people being worked over, and it was dirty, and there was oppression from some group of brotherhood, something or others. And so she's just kind of tried to keep her head down and just make sure that the little people are all right. She works down at the docks, but just the more she sees people getting kicked down and whatnot, she thought she would step in and take action. And having some skills that she learned prior to coming to Westkeep is helped, but she's a little nervous about jumping in full into open rebellion per se, because there's only a handful of us.
Resistance. Well, again, we're assuming that you guys have been part of the Resistance, and that's how you know each other. So why don't you tell us how she has become integrated with the rest?
I think she's probably Ralph is a sailor and probably comes in on ships and barges and stuff like that. So again,
guys, remember, this place does not have ships.
Yeah,
it has barges. It has small river barges that will come down river to transport some stuff. It is not a port.
Right. So let's see here then. I can't see her working for the Scarlet Brotherhood in any fashion, even as a cover.
No.
Just wouldn't sit well. So probably what one of the other characters, I don't know, we'll have to hear what Ralph and Nisara's backgrounds are and see how that fits.
Okay. Nisara?
I got you, Dave. So Nisara, she comes from, think of it like a nomadic version of like barge travelers, up and down the rivers, moving stuff, smuggling stuff, delivering goods. But like Ilya, she lost her family one night because of the Scarlet Brotherhood, just took over their barges, swamped it. But she had a close family relative that took her in, and she joined kind of with the druids to learn her ways around. So she's been learning magic, scouting, smuggling, all that stuff in the background. And when she heard there was a rise up of rebels against the Scarlet Brotherhood, she was immediately on board to join, show them how to navigate the marshes, how to stay away from things, how to go unnoticed. And so she basically was a scout and a guide. So if anybody needs smuggled in, kind of like Telandra or Groth, she would probably be one of the contacts they use to get out and about. So she is scout, smuggler, all that.
Let's start with this, maybe, Dave, to try and get, why was Telandir traveling in the first place?
More boredom with the Wood Elves and just to get away. And then she went and served briefly with a monastic order. So,
okay.
Isn't there a monastery
maybe
let me throw some ideas out for you. The to the north, there's a place called the Dreadwood that does have a pretty substantial Elvish population in Keoland. That would be a relatively close place, which would explain why at relatively low levels you've traveled. High elf, like a lot of other high elves, they also have access to magic quite a bit. So it's not unreasonable that you would have some kind of martial training that would incorporate elemental magic of some kind.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's a wood elf, so it was more like going to the urbanish center because the promise of.
So then, here's something you're going to want you to work with. The Westkeep is not the largest city. It is not the capital of here, and it is a mining primarily with some farming. Whoever sent you here did so, unless there's some other explanation, they would have done so knowing that you were going to get fucked over. Pretty much.
Okay, yeah. And then she saw everybody else getting fucked over, and she's like, well, I got to do something about this. She got to help out, and that's how she joined the resistance.
Sure. What skills did she take? Is it just the generic kind of survival or whatever? Is there anything that distinguishes her from other wanderers? Even proficiencies, like in tools.
Yeah, I'm looking at calligraphy. That was something that she learned when she was in the order.
Yeah.
Poetry.
And athletics, insight, nature, stealth. Nothing really.
What you could have ended up being is just a laborer of some kind. Like maybe this, if you wanted to see something quite different, Earth is one of the elements, so you could have been part of trying to put some of the mining and stuff back into action.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And you may have concealed, if you've got stealth as well, you could have concealed some of your actual capabilities. So they may not have known what they had on their hands.
Yeah, she's just strong and got lots of energy. Oh, she's a great worker.
Okay. And then finally, Routh.
So Routh is from Westkeep, and he was living here and probably working on the barges or something along those lines. And he had met one of the waitresses, actually from the Feral Dog. Her name was Hannah, and he had planned to marry this girl, but he didn't have enough coin, and so he took a contract on a ship, from a port somewhere off that he had a contact from the barge
of Westkeep as well, where it does actually sail out from there. It's just that it is about a day's
so
travel.
He headed over there. He took a contract with some shipping company, and he was working there. And I think during this time is sort of when the Scarlet Brotherhood was cleared from the area. And when they left, or when they sort of the Hannah went missing at the same time. And so he came back and, seen all these changes, and she's gone. And so basically he's been searching for her and sort of blaming them ever since. And so he's not sure,
So here are the things that would feel different to you as well. That would be walking around town, going to your favorite place, going to whatever you've started doing differently. For one, there is persistent signs of Keolish occupation.
Yeah.
There are three different kind of detachments. There are the Panther Battalion, the 6th Light Infantry, also known as the Iron Fists, and the 76 Dragoons, led respectively by 2 humans and 1 actually from the Dreadwood as well. So from your homeland, Telandir, there is a Keolish person who's come here. The Hold of the Sea Princes is an independent area, has been, just like the Yeomanry, just like Jeff, just like Sterek, has been for years and years and years. You know that one Keolish king died trying to occupy this place 150 years ago. They have finally done what they wanted to do centuries before, and they now have control. In contrast to the Scarlet Brotherhood, much better. But it still is an army occupying here, and Westkeep is not a particularly welcoming place. It is close enough to the swamps to have sickness to be a regular thing. There's a lot of people who work tough mining jobs. They are not willing to suffer fools lightly, and because of the nature of mining being valuable to whoever controls it, that's largely kind of gone on, and the Scarlet Brotherhood largely let a lot of the people who were in charge of that part just carry on while they've been occupying other things. But it does seem, because Westkeep is so far north, it was also serving as a bit of a intelligence network for those who are going north, because one of the things that happened that you guys would be aware of through your contact, your mutual contact, is someone named Maris Sandovar. Maris was a scout with the garrison and had basically used that to run contacts with all of you guys. While Ilya, you don't necessarily run across him because the garrison and the sheriff's people, the militia, they sort of keep themselves separate. Or the Watch, not the militia. He was one of the go-betweens for you. He was also a regular patron at the Emporium, which is how you met and kept in contact with him, Gillian. Telandir, if you're working in the mines, he would be contacting you through when you were transporting back and forth to the mines, or when you're out at the facilities. It does seem that what you became aware of, Telandir, is that they seem to be looking for something, because you see, the region around Westkeep, it's not just populated with old mines. This place is also rife with not only the ruins dating back to the Twin Devastations, but older than that. Much, much older. There are cairns located in some of these, and some of them are cairns that have become mines, or mines that have been around cairns. Telandir, you know that they were looking for something as well. They were not just trying to canvass which mines could be explored once again. They were trying to get the lay of the land for where certain ancient cairns were located. Nisara, you were in contact with Maris through your smuggling activities that you talked about. And Ralph, what kind of activities do you think you did as part of the Resistance? Were you running messages to other folks? I'm assuming that there's a good chunk of the time during the occupation, while you were part of the Resistance, you were actually in Westkeep.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, probably smuggling messages. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah.
Which characters have met one another? Whether during the time that you were part of the Resistance, or during the time the 2 or 3 months that have passed since the Kaolish have come in?
Well, Nasara wouldn't be. She's not like a typical druid that just goes out and loses herself in the swamps. It's dangerous out there. I mean, she knows that firsthand. She frequents the taverns quite a bit. Maybe engages in a brawl every now and then.
Like the feral dog?
Probably.
Because if you've been to the feral dog, you've probably seen me.
Yeah.
Understand.
And she understands that, strength usually determines the winner. So the dog fighting is not her ideal kind of thing, but she understands the necessity behind it.
Well, they also have dagger throwing contests in the tavern.
I'll cheat if I try that.
Yeah, Tira is like champion, and Telandir's wanted to money off her friend. So
yeah, Tira is an interesting. We'll get back to her in a second because there's an interesting tidbit that you'll have known about him. What about the other folks? Gillian, how do you think you fell in with these rougher sorts?
Probably not necessarily entirely by choice at first. I think Gillian, he's a simple man, and he just wanted to try to do some good to make up for perceived sins, right? So that was his motivation for joining. So I think maybe when he met some of the rest of the group here and got to working with them, I imagine at first this was actually quite jarring for him, and he was resistant to it, or he had a real problem working with some of them at first, and it probably took a while for him to get used to that idea or accept the necessity of some of it. I mean, maybe Nasara, like I'm thinking passing messages is probably where it kind of started, and then but from there gradually had to kind of get used to some of these rougher types. So I think maybe there's that. Like, there was always this maybe some tension. Maybe we've dealt with it by now, or I don't know. We can figure that out as we go. But yeah, I think it was tense for a while.
So of the available taverns, the Feral Dog is the most dangerous dive. The Emporium is probably the it is sort of, think of like a Old West brothel. There's gambling there, there's entertainment there, there's companionship to be found there of all different varieties. There is the Spinning Plate, which is most often populated by the garrison, and there is a place called, I think it's Lazar's House, which is the most cultured night spot. So those who are more of like your family's station, Ilya, though if you're hiding your identity, you probably don't want to be hanging out there. If you could put in the chat, guys, let's which of those, Lazar's House, the Emporium, the Spinning Plate, the Feral Dog, which of those is your favorite night spot? And the Feral Dog also, this is not like, oh, what a cute dive joint. This is like fucking, you're gonna get knifed biker bar.
Yeah,
I was thinking it's got a biker bar vibe.
Yeah, it is very much. Yeah,
I feel like
interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, Nasara isn't. She'll go to other places, but Feral Dog is. If she's gonna go get drunk, that's the place.
And I feel like the higher to do one, like, it's not that Gillian wouldn't like that, but I think he wouldn't know how to function, and he probably wasn't welcome there because he's a bumpkin at the end of the day in their eyes.
Yeah, no, you're not
It's
wrong
gonna be on
there.
them when I'm becoming quite popular and traveling, when my I guess not record deal, but my sheets go viral. I don't know.
It'll be pretty great if the running joke with Gillian is when he talks about all of his previous cover bands.
Jeff, Ralph has a Tavern Brawler, doesn't he, from the sailor background?
Yeah, I think so.
Same.
Yeah. So okay, then
That's
I think
redundant, so I didn't go that way.
no, and the spinning plate's a little further away, but the the kind of center of town is. We were talking about that before. Center of town is really where the Emporium and the the Feral Dog are located. Church St. Cuthbert, of course, is right here, and then I believe the Shrine to Hieronymus is up among the garrison.
And those standing stones at the top left corner, that's where the Mahirs gather and whatnot?
That is actually just another example of Mynheers that are quite close. That's not the Bronze Lodge. The Bronze Lodge itself is a huge structure, and it's further out, further north into the not quite a day's journey, but far enough to be not right in town and well away from where the mining is and from where the farms kind of sprawl.
Okay, because I think that's right up there in the northwest is kind of where you'd find Nassara on quiet moments or when she's not looking to go dive in the bar.
Okay. Now, because several months have gone by without any further action, it is the Keolish king. Presently is King Scody. King Scody is the one who led the invasion here. However, it has sort of stalled out, or at the very least, it has not gone any further than Westkeep. The rest of the army has gone on elsewhere or returned to Keoland, but we have not pushed any further along, which means you've had 3 months of basically just occupation by these Keolish forces. And the army itself is almost an eighth of the size of the overall population of Westkeep. So it's a substantial increase in how many people are here. You combine that with the problem with the turnover of the Scarlet Brotherhood, the revenge killings and stuff that happen afterwards, the trials for the collaborators. Gillian, do you know what's happened to your family after the Keolish liberation?
Oh, that's a well, I shouldn't say fun question. I really want to avoid.
I know precisely what pickle the tickle for Andrew's like. Some of your family has been murdered. Andrew's like, tell me more.
Yes.
So now he's actually an orphan of Westkeep.
Now I am. Yeah.
You don't need to kill your family in this case, Andrew. You can just turn them in.
They also could have gone into hiding.
I mean, Dave. That's it's basically the same thing. I think I don't know that I turned them in, and that's not just because I really don't want to start making a bad reputation for myself in every game we play, but I think that for him it's more like those when he made that cut from his life, they really are already dead to him. Like there is no relationship. They don't exist anymore. Right, like, and I think this is his life, and those people are just gone. So whatever happens to him, he doesn't even know. He probably doesn't even know what happened to him, and he doesn't give a shit.
Okay.
Wait, we're past 10 minutes, right?
We are. We're well past 10 minutes. Yeah.
Starting the year off well.
Routh.
Yes.
One of the things that you've heard since returning is in the same way that Ilya lost his family with the coming of the Scarlet Brotherhood. There has also been people who have gone missing in the immediate aftermath, and some of those people are collaborators or the people who reported. Does Routh suspect that? Was it Hannah? What's her name?
Well, yeah, Hannah was her name. Yeah, he doesn't want to believe that she was a part of the Brotherhood. So,
has he looked into it at all?
No, he probably not too deeply anyway.
Okay.
Because he certainly blames them, and if she was a collaborator, they had forced her into it, or they had something on her for sure.
Okay.
They blackmailed her. They must have if she was involved.
Telandir, is there someone who you made a connection with that prevented you from just fucking leaving town? If you've got survival and you've got stealth, there's really no reason why you would have had to stay here. So what is it that kept you here?
I think it's some of the orphaned kids that, like, their families were either taken or something the Brotherhood did, or just, you know, like you see more and more kids living on the street and they don't have homes, they don't have food. So it's like she'll finish a day's work, buy some bread, walk around, give some kids something to eat, and she just, until things get sorted out in this place, she can't really go.
It's a good use for some of my good berries too.
So then the other thing you're probably finding is that because as the Kaolish army pushes further into reconquering parts from the Scarlet Brotherhood, the refugees, Westkeep is not the largest city in the hold. It is the largest city that's been liberated. So you're going to be seeing more refugees and more orphans and things like that coming in too.
There's more people coming in, more people who need help.
Okay.
And yeah, she's trying to provide charity where possible and assistance where possible. And
okay. Do you guys trust the Kaolish?
No.
They're an improvement, but we haven't really seen how much of an improvement, right? Like they haven't done anything other than occupy.
No.
So like, is an invader better than, you know, if you go into a country and you kill its ruler, even though they were a bad person, and you just like waged war on them and then took their resources?
This is like there's also something contemporaneous to this, just like when we actually rolled a plague at the start of COVID for one of our campaigns.
Oh yeah.
This was set before recent events occurred, so Dave is not projecting anything onto this.
No, but it's very strange that that's happened again.
It's weird. Yeah, well,
but you know what? Like, history repeats itself, right? So
yeah. So I thought I'd mention when we kept having the recurring issue of the winter plague, throughout 2020 and 2021. That was just a weird coincidence for things. So, okay, so then I think. Well, knowing the places that we have talked about, you guys have coalesced and been introduced over the past couple of months by Maris as sort of a functioning cell. And in part because they do not trust the Kaolish either.
Yeah.
The Kaolish have wanted to make Westkeep part of the Kingdom of Keoland for a very long time. So while this has served as a way of liberating this from the Scarlet Brotherhood, it is, as you've said, it remains to see whether this is better than what the Scarlet Brotherhood was. It still has not been returned to independent rule by the corrupt, mine-owning nobility like it should be, right, Ilya?
Now, wait a minute.
I imagine it's been a bit of an eye-opener for Ilya, living from the bottom level as well, in contrast to what he would have lived with, right?
To some extent, of course, when I think of him, I mean, I just read stuff about the area and kind of the time frames and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, what I was thinking of to a large extent was the simple fact that he was a landowner. That was the kind of nobility. So he had land that, in my mind, was farmland, but it doesn't have to be.
No, it can be. The thing is, with so by noble in the Hold of the Sea Princes, it's you're fucking pirates, right? So you're either pirates or otherwise just wealthy exploiters. That's sort of the way that the Hold of the Sea Princes always has been. So, but they also take the trappings and borrow the sort of conventions of Kaolish nobility. It gives some legitimacy to their, for the otherwise that is just basically piracy. I think that makes sense that you probably farming would give you actual land, but the thing that gives you actual money here is the mining primarily. So your family may have had contact with that, but it does give you a way of being kind of separate from the hoi polloi, the way that some small town, or it's a city, it's not a town, small city rich kids can be.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a meeting place where your cell would meet up. I'm thinking it's probably in the evenings. And I'm thinking it's probably a place where maybe it's an abandoned building near some place that you all know that would be justify why you'd be walking past it, or outside of a place. What do you guys think? Anyone have any ideas for other notable places here? Anything that's got a number on it is still occupied, so that's probably not a good idea, but there's plenty of places along here that are not. This is the smelter, by the way, an important part of mining. There are ruins near that as well because they just haven't been active. There's a lot of mansions in here. Your family mansion may have been, maybe it's like a ruin or something like that has been destroyed, Ilya?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's definitely a ruin. That was one of the things he kind of saw when he came to.
Where do you guys think? Anyone have any ideas?
Well, it could still be that ruin because they could still have like a storm shelter.
Yeah.
They're on the coast. So,
remember, this is
storms
inland. This is not on the coast.
Oh,
It's a river. It's a
This
river.
is inland.
What's the south is the river? I thought the city was. Oh, never mind. My bad.
It would be on the banks of the river, just not on the
Still.
coast.
Let me see. Oh, I don't have the big map.
Maybe like Columbia Gorge or a river size river.
No, it's a much smaller and shallower river, which is why you can't have sea ships,
Gotcha.
make their way down.
It's not deep
But
enough.
there are definitely, like I said, this represents about a quarter of where the population lives. There's like other places beyond here, but you're going to want a place that is sort of central to where everybody, where everybody has an excuse to be seen walking there. This is not so big of a city that, you're able to lose yourself in a crowd, and each of you kind of is distinctive looking.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Always going to notice an animal.
What about one of the abandoned mines?
Yeah.
Yeah. In town, there are two. There is the the Deep Spike mine right here. And although that still is active, and 31, I think, is, or 32?
32, yeah. Up
32 is one, 31 is one. Let me double check. See if there's anything.
I wouldn't mind the 32. It's pretty close to where she'd be hanging out.
I was gonna say it's a little bit away from town, so there's not gonna be a lot of people to notice us going there.
Okay.
Norris is always seen up here on off times too, so.
Like that.
So this is the Dowerstone mine here. So yeah, the one that they forgot. There's that ruin right there. The kind of tool shed. That could be a place where you guys head. Okay. I mentioned there are two things that are really.
Oh, the 34 is an observatory, an old one.
The observatory is not a place you guys can meet.
No, I was just noticing there's an observatory, and Norris is all about stars, so that'd be way up in her interest.
It could be you do not have access to it.
Oh well, no, I mean,
yeah. So, the only difficulty with that, guys, is that you're all sneaking away from town. Then,
yeah, this is a town under occupation. Any activity that's not seen as normal is going to be problematic. Like it'd be easier to meet out behind, in the stables of one of the inns or something like that.
How about the junk piles near the smelter?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, John.
Just an abandoned house.
The Rusty Bucket is a restaurant here.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, restaurants are pretty good.
So there could be an explanation. 27 is the Osgood Smithy. So if you want to meet here, the thing is you don't have cover for there, and like it does rain.
Let's just meet at the Rusty Bucket.
Rusty Bucket will be a restaurant, though, not a tavern.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't suppose any of you want to rent a room out in the what's it called?
The Emporium?
Yeah, the.
As long as it's not the one where the guards are staying.
We can rent a room down the Veiled Corridor. Don't know if any of the guards would be able to, but any guards down there would be pretty distracted anyway.
It's true.
So a place that might accommodate all of you guys at night, and could be explained, behind the general store. It is right next to the sheriff's office, but I believe it's... Who has the contact with the sheriff? It's Ilya, I think, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah. Ilya, what's your impression of the sheriff?
He's a lawman in name only.
Yeah.
So he's probably at the Hungry Gar by the time we're meeting.
He will be at the Hunger or collecting bribes.
Collecting bribes, walking around town, yeah.
Hunger Gar is also a restaurant, for that matter. So you got two choices of restaurants in town, but the general store will not be active at night. And if the sheriff's office is not going to be terribly active, perhaps behind there would be one place you could meet.
Yeah, like in and around there.
And all of you have reasons to be, at either the Feral Dog or the Emporium. It was only Ilya who's at the Spinning Plate up here.
But I could always have business at the sheriff's office.
Yeah, but you could also be... Yeah, exactly. So, it is one such night where... the last bit of news I'll share is... Well, first off, why don't we do have everyone... we'll assume all you guys are kind of getting back together. Each of you has heard some rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we start by talking about what rumors you guys have heard and see if you can put some of these into a broader context now that you know a little bit about Westkeep, about each other, and about some of the inhabitants there. We'll go left to right once again. Routh, what have you heard?
Well, I've heard that one of the freaks, the demon boy, has escaped the Emporium. Emporium.
Yeah.
Sorry. And Shag will give 20 gold to anyone who can retrieve him.
So that's what Ralph's heard. One of the caged freaks from the Emporium has escaped, and Shag, who appears to be like a bearded man of some kind of species with crazy twisted, beard and mustache twirled up, he's paying a reward for them. Nasara, what rumor have you heard? Oh, you're muted, John.
We gotta get that toast to Mo,
Mo.
right? Hydrate. So I've heard that at the Able Carter Coaching Inn, just 21 on the map.
Yep.
There's a rich mining manager from a neighboring village called Blackstone, who apparently brought no guards and has several trunks for an extended stay. And the word is the local thieves are sizing him up to rob him.
Well, maybe he
This rumor
needs some
comes from one of the lodgers at the inn. I overheard.
Okay.
some protection. Yeah, we could help with that.
Telandir, what have you heard?
Well, Balabar Smank, likely one of the richest merchants, mine owners in town, his right hand a Mestal fix has not been seen for more than 2 weeks, and it seems to be weighing on Smeg. He's been particularly jumpy, maybe chalked up to being a sympathizer or collaborator, or maybe the Brotherhood's not as gone as everybody thinks they are.
Gillian, what rumor have you heard?
Well, I bumped into an old friend from my farming days. They claim that they saw a group of armored warriors down out on the Elmshire Road, that heads north toward the Twilight Monastery and the border with Keoland. But the weird thing they noticed was that apparently they were flying what he thought was the flag of Tensor the Archmage, and they think that so Tensor being, hold on here because I'm not familiar, so I'm just reading what I have here. But so he's one of the Circle of Eight, betrayed by, is it Rary?
Rary the traitor, yeah.
Rary the traitor. But everybody thinks Tensor is dead. So this is why this was very weird that the farmer, my friend, thinks he saw this flag or this banner. But so my friend is worried that maybe that Tensor is not dead, and that there could be an army forming outside of town. So that could be trouble.
Yeah, well, what a mage's army be doing here?
Right.
Just a former member of the Circle of Eight as well. In our main Night Below campaign, when you guys met the one mage that helped out Knox, he was a member of the Circle of Eight. They are the most powerful mages, or among the most powerful mages at least, all of the Flanays. And then finally, Ilya, what rumor have you heard?
So the rumor, there was a fight at the spinning plate last month. And when the sheriff's deputies went in to try and make an arrest, some of I think it's the Keolunish soldiers. Is that the way to say that, Kevin?
It would be the garrison that stood up, not the Keolish.
The garrison soldiers.
Yeah.
Forced the cops to leave, and they also said that there were a couple of clerics erroneous who also stood up to the sheriff.
So the rift between the garrison and to be clear, the members of the garrison are the local. They're not the members of the Keolish army. They are, yeah. It's effectively the militia, if you will. So, the last rumor that you guys have heard relates actually to Telandir, someone you had met. So, from Keoland, there came 3 adventurers. A human named Alric, who was a warrior of some kind. A wizard named Kelek. And I'll put these in chat. I know we all went to high school with Auric and Kellex, but Auric, the human warrior. Kelek, the human wizard. Oopsies. And Tira, the elf rogue. Rogue even. Tira is someone that Telandir you have met since that time. But the 3 of them have returned, and the scuttlebutt amongst the sort of, because it's a change of topic from the constant talk of occupation and whatnot. The 3 of them came back from a place called the Sturge Nest Cairn. And they came back pretty fucking loaded. Now, would everyone give us let's see here. I think you're going to give us either a history check, which does exist in this game, or
mazes amongst these cairns.
Were there any mages amongst the cairns? Mazes amongst the cairns. No,
amongst these barrows. No barrow.
But you could also give us an investigation check if you've thought to ask around. You could give us a persuasion check if you thought you were just chatting up people. If you think there's another skill you might use, I'm open to pitches as well.
Well, that's a crappy roll.
Pretty good, Ralph. Wow.
Very friendly.
Trying to think of a way to justify performance, but I'll go persuasion. Makes more sense. I'm just chatting. I'm not literally.
I'm just glad you didn't say athletics.
+0, +0, -1. Which one will I choose?
Pretty good persuasion there. Wow.
Nat 20.
Good night.
Sarah.
Oh, beauty.
Okay.
I have a +0 to history.
Did I say history was 1?
Yeah, that was the first one.
You said, Kevin.
Did I say history? Okay. Okay, and then persuasion not great from Telandir. Let's go with some of the better checks here. So Routh and Gillian, what you've heard, because they are particularly at the Feral Dog and at the Emporium, there has been a lot of chat about this stuff. They seem to show up from Keoland about a month ago. They were gone and came back now talking about this place. What you know is from your history check, Nisara, is that where they went, it's known as the Sturge Nest Cairn, but like I mentioned at the outset of the session, it's one of many, many cairns that is found in the areas around where the mining takes place. And knowing one from the other has been pretty difficult. Telandir could advise you as well. When you compare where they've been looking, it seems as if it is some of the oldest cairns in particular. Things that may even predate any sentient species of the modern species being here. It may date back to the age of the giants, to the age of the dragons, perhaps even further. So whatever cairns they're accessing, these places have been around for, they are specifically picking out things that are much older than the presence of human empires in this region. And I mean, to look at it now as a series of pirate kingdoms or pirate baronies, you would never think of this as, having such a storied history to it. They said that this place was expansive, it was full of traps, and it was much bigger than it appeared at first glance. They particularly played up the fact that it took a lot of a great deal of ingenuity on the part of the three, particularly from Kellic and Tira, in order to fully explore and loot the Sturge Nest Cairn. With a roll of 22, Gillian, there is something else that you've learned. Kellic is apparently a member of a widespread, not so secret, but at least a conspiracy, a group known as the Seekers. The Seekers, think of like Belloc to Indiana Jones, and you'll have an idea of what the Seekers do. They are magical archaeologists, but sinister ones. As a someone from the Kingdom of Keoland originally, Telandir, if that is brought up to you, you may be aware that the Seekers are particularly opposed by the predominant order of mages within Keoland. You may remember there's that order that suppresses dangerous knowledge. Well, the Seekers are, rather than suppressing dangerous knowledge such as the existence of Vecna's empire, these guys and gals and folks, what they want to do is find and recover and exploit artifacts.
Okay.
Kellic does seem like a pretty likable sort, though, and you've got to know Tira quite well through your time at the Feral Dog. In that context, I guess first off, any questions, guys? Some of you rolled quite well, so you could get more information beyond what I'm just info dumping. Routh, Gillian, or Nisara, any specific questions relating to your roles?
What's the
To
kind
be
of,
honest, go ahead.
what's the kind of like general history behind these Karns, like superstitions or rumors or things like that might have popped up? Maybe.
Well, I mean, it depends on depends on which Cairn you're talking about.
This one in particular.
For that one in particular, I mean, its name is just from a historical occupation. At one point, it's not like it always has had them in there, but it was not something that was known, but it really wasn't thought of as, having any significance to it. People had forgotten what it may have been related to. It also didn't help that in that sort of region, it's been about 40 years or so since mining has taken place there. So the heyday of that, mines have lifespans in decades, if not centuries, depending on the level of technology and whatnot. And that was given up 40 years ago. So you can imagine that area, 40 years plus whatever, lifespan of the mines. During that whole time, the Sturge Nest Cairn was only sort of known as that, and there wasn't much else known. But based on what they've recovered, you would have to travel to Nile Dra or one of the other larger communities, perhaps even the Free City of Greyhawk itself, to try and find experts who could identify some of these ancient artifacts, because looking at them, it's tough to tell what any of these things may date from, other than with your role, Nisara, older than any of the commonly cited ancient empires.
Any clue why it's called the Sturge Nest, Karn?
Well, like I said, it was at one point it had a Sturge Nest in it, and just it kept that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
That's okay. Any other questions?
How dangerous of a crew do I consider these three?
They are most certainly folks who could beat the living shit out of you. You're fairly certain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they are certainly going to be more capable than what you are. Telandir may willingly participate in the dagger throwing things, but Tira, she snookers people into it, basically. She is hands down the best sort of knife thrower of anywhere, or at least anyone you guys have met at the Feral Dog.
That's how we do it, We find someone who hasn't been to the tavern before, and I throw a few, and then they're like, let's put some money on the line, and then she comes in and takes all their money, and we split it and go drinking.
Yep, exactly. Any other questions?
This is more of a limitation on Andrew, that I don't know what I don't know, but so a lot of this stuff would be ignorance. But so, I mean, take the Seekers. Would I have any sense of, if they're looking for dangerous magical knowledge and stuff, would they have been kind of in hiding and not operating during the occupation, or would they? Yeah,
they definitely would not.
Avoiding the Scarlet Brotherhood altogether, I assume.
The Seekers are definitely at odds with the Scarlet Brotherhood. The Scarlet Brotherhood is, just as a refresher, they are one of the legacy organizations, conspiracies, cults from the long-fallen Sulis Empire. It's been about a millennia since the Twin Devastations. They moved themselves down into the Hetmonaland, into the kind of the jungles of that region, displaced a lot of the local folks who were living there, and set up their own secret empire. And it turns out for 1,000 years, they have been trying to manipulate things behind the scenes. And about a decade ago, openly led to warfare. But because they're also a repository of all those ancient Sulese things, they are a target sometimes for the Seekers. And then also, Hetmonaland itself has many, many secrets and many ancient ruins. And the Seekers love going for that stuff as well.
Okay.
So they would be in better times. Probably like a well-paying for folks who are sailors and whatnot, like Routh or Nisara. It's definitely something that like people like you might get hired to sail out to some, you know, forgotten island or whatnot to explore. That's what the Seekers like doing.
Right.
They're murder hobos, I guess, is one way of thinking of it. Any other questions of what you guys have learned thus far? Then, why don't you guys tell us what it's like as we are meeting up with Maris. Maris is back in town, and you guys have... Do you think there is like some sign that he gives when he's back in town and that you guys would see to know that you got to meet up? If so, what do you think that would be?
It's probably some kind of ribbon or something tied to a specific tree, or maybe.
Okay.
We just, you know, glance at every 2 or 3 times a day. Maybe not a ribbon, but something that wouldn't look out of place, but wouldn't normally be there.
A dirty sock on the barrel by the sheriff's office.
Well, maybe there's a specific, I mean, if he's traveling around, maybe there's a specific drink that becomes available at the tavern upon his return, you know? Oh, that wine you like from this region is, you know, like it's...
That's pretty clever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And the tavern keeper over at the
feral dog.
Yeah.
Emporium, or the Emporium or the feral dog.
Either one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which one would you think? It sounds like you guys are more likely to frequent the feral dog. Zalamandra, who runs the Emporium, though, is the one. Like, if any place is going to get clamped down on during an occupation, it would probably be hers, but for some reason it was not. She managed to somehow keep herself open and active throughout the Scarlet Brotherhood occupation. And it is also more likely the place that would advertise drinks, now that I think of it.
Right.
So,
sure. Yeah.
Gillian, you would be the first one who became aware that Maris is back in town. So perhaps you showed up earlier in the day, and you find to get yourself set up for whatever your performance is this evening, and you can see him talking to Zalamandra. Zalamandra is, I think of kind of like oh gosh, I can't remember what the actress's name is, but the woman who plays the EarthGov senator from The Expanse.
Oh, I haven't seen The Expanse yet, so.
So I haven't seen
Yeah, I know. I have to rectify that very soon. But
it's good. Yeah, like I haven't seen the full series, and the last season I saw, it wasn't as good as the first. The first season of it in particular was fucking awesome, Andrew.
I think the first 2 seasons at least were great.
Yeah,
first season was all like lead up and build up, and 2 was like, oh my god. So,
yeah. So it doesn't really matter. She is a woman of Backloonish descent, a little bit darker skinned, attractive, but aged a bit, and has both a commanding and charismatic quality to her. Mm-hmm. So she is talking to Morris, who has the look of, he's got dust on him and whatnot. There's only a select few who are sort of allowed into the nicer parts, as dirty as what they are. And I think she finishes talking to him. Morris walked past you and gives you a bit of or Maris, forgive me, gives you a bit of a wink, Gillian, and the Zalamandra says, I think, what do you think the drink is that is on offer this evening? Or is there a specific type of performance that is offered tonight?
Well, drink, I don't know. That I don't know. Be a little bit of anything. Performance, in terms of what Gillian's going to be planning on performing, I think I think there'll be some local kind of songs. They're simple fare. They're not going to be extremely elaborate, but they each of the songs that he plans on playing harken back to a pre-occupation kind of touch point, and very much focused on the farming community and you know, kind of like work songs that that farmers would sing to each other as they're getting through their day. Is I think what he plans on playing tonight.
Sure. So Ogre's Blood Wine.
Yeah, nice.
That sounds like something pretty gnarly.
So yeah, that does seem something more to be appropriate for the Feral Dog than it would be the Emporium.
Oh, right. We switched bar. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant elf.
What about Blood Cherry Wine? It's kind of a bog fruit anyway, right? And it's cherry trees, isn't it?
Cranberry.
Bloodberry wine, how about?
Yeah.
It could be like a cranberry, exactly, like a bogberry. Yeah. It is going to be bloodberry wine that is on the menu for this evening. So Gillian, you know that you'll be meeting up at, say, what time do you guys do it? Is it a midnight meeting? Is it something later? Something earlier?
I like the witching hour. That's excellent.
Yeah, midnight's good.
I'm partial to the middle of the night where the stars are clearest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, guys,
that makes sense. Gillian would probably just head right there right after his set, you know, because you know the last, you know, shoves the last drunkard off the table and
love it.
Oh wait, we don't have that kind of stuff in the Emporium. That doesn't happen here.
I mean, there's the 3 copper
ago.
floor, and there's the 3 silver floor, and there's the 3 gold, you know, kind of area.
Right.
So
right.
The
This
3 copper
performance was
floor.
probably more the main floor tonight. I don't know that the people higher up there would appreciate the.
No, I think it's the Gallery of Science is where you go for your gambling and whatever else. So it's going to be a pretty active night. Okay, so Gillian, we know what Gillian's reaction is to, I guess, get the sign ready and then get ready for your performance. What do we see as everyone else either gets word that Bloodberry wine is on menu, and how do we see you react to that? It's like, Ralph, what would you be doing when you're checking that board throughout the day?
I think he's always got his ear to all the conversations in town, and you know, he's sort of that friendly guy that he's a little bit intimidating, but he's just a big teddy bear in a lot of ways when he's around town, and so I think that he gains that sort of respect and, you know, camaraderie of people, and he just sort of uses that to constantly, you know, get a finger on the pulse of what's going on in town.
Sure.
And also being from here, it's like probably a lot of the local people would be people he's known his whole life. So
yeah. Well, and if you're a sailor as well, you know, we haven't talked about what the specifics of that is, but if you're living in town, you might be working as a stevedore, which means you're bringing shit to all the different places, right? Like they're constantly going to have stuff coming in, whether it's from upriver, downriver. The fishing is kind of dead here on account of the smelting. So you're going to have to get your catch from, you know, further upstream or further downstream, really further downstream. If you're transporting stuff, that means you're in people's restaurants and taverns and businesses pretty often.
Yeah. You know, here's the whatever you ordered or kind of thing.
Yeah. So we see Roth, you know, you're dropping off an order at the, what was it, the Hungry Gar? Is that what it's called?
Sounds right.
There's a something Gar.
Yeah. Pretty
Sounds
sure
right.
that's what it's
I think it
called.
was Hungry Gar, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that.
What's a reaction that Ralph has? Hungry Gar, we're right. What's his reaction when he sees that bloodberry wine is on for this evening?
I think that there's probably excitement. He definitely likes it when, there's action or something going on. I mean, there's probably always a little bit of hopefulness too, that like the next mission is going to give him that thread that's going to lead him back to Hannah, right?
Yeah.
Some punk's going to know something, or he'll find some evidence. Something's going to, he's still hopeful. And so every mission has got that, like, that thread of excitement of like, oh, this is the one.
Okay.
I know it.
Nisara, are you like primarily in town at this point, or are you traveling back and forth from the Bronzewood Lodge?
She probably the way she goes about her day, she's kind of like super self-sufficient all by herself. So she kind of like finds things to do to keep herself busy in town during the day, which is why she ends up at the feral dog so much she gets bored.
How does she make money though? Because you got to pay for.
Well, yeah. So she probably does odd jobs and goes around and heals people that need it or offer services for what she can do. But mostly she's got the sailor background, kind of like Roth does too. So occasions where she can deliver stuff, she'll do that too.
So what is Nisara's reaction to?
She's feeling like things are getting stagnant and like mired and nothing's moving. So the chance to do something immediately lights her up, because she's kind of more gruff and stern than anything. So she got a pep in her step now.
Okay. Talandir, what will we see you doing to keep yourself in town or keep yourself aware of? You don't necessarily be in town all day. So long as you catch it before nightfall, you should be able to catch it. So what do you think you're doing?
So wrapping up, working, and doing odd jobs for people, cutting firewood, whatever.
Did we say you were working with Orphans, though, right?
Well, at the Aftershield, she works with the mines and whatever she's doing to help the mines out. I'm guessing maybe that's how she knows some information about Balabar Smenk, is she works in one of the mines, and he probably owns the mine. So
he's one of the wealthiest landowners. He's managed to come out of this occupation pretty well.
Yeah. So when she wraps up her day, she'll go take what spare coins she has and picks up a loaf of bread, and then sees how much the bread costs keep going up with the occupation and resources getting limited. And then she notices the bloodberry wine is available, and she's like, this is great. We can do something now. We've been waiting for something to do for a while now. So
okay. And Ilya,
I almost think that being behind the sheriff's office at midnight is almost a ritual with him. I almost feel like he's kind of maybe the touchstone for that.
Okay. So my question was, what was he doing throughout the day?
Oh, throughout the day?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot. He might be trying to get a handle now that the Brotherhood are bad guys, at least in this immediate area. He's probably trying to get a handle on how he's going to turn that to his advantage more so.
Does the town know that you're part? I guess first off, is Bogatyr your actual family name, or is it your pseudonym?
I think that's something that he adopted.
Okay. So do they know? Does anyone in town know that you're the sort of orphan child of?
No, I don't think a lot of them do. I think, because it's a town, but people change over time. And I think everybody assumed he was dead, quite literally.
Well, and this thing, Mephistopheles could have just changed your face. Like, it's not shape-shifting, but you just may look different when you made your pact.
He definitely looks different. He went through hell to some extent.
Yeah. So, I guess as a bounty hunter, do you think there's anything you've done work-wise as a bounty hunter, or are you just lounging about, like living off of whatever money you scrimp together in the...
No, he doesn't have a lot of money, so he's definitely looking for some way to make money. And before it wasn't too bad, and it's still not too horrible with the sheriff now, except the actual people he wants to pursue are now the people that he can get paid for pursuing. Does that make sense?
Okay. So if you're trying to, maybe you're, trying to ingratiate yourself with the Keolish forces that are here, although they seem to have given up with, like, they still seem keeping themselves separate, so I don't think they trust that the local population is free of any Scarlet Brotherhood influence.
No, I get that.
So, Ilya, if you just sort of crash behind it's not behind the sheriff's office, it's behind the general stores where you guys are meeting. People may just know that you're that drunk that, wanders down from the spinning plate and then ends up there every night. So that might be a reason why they ignore you. People start to whisper about what you get up to.
I get up to all kinds of shit.
When evening comes, what does everyone do for their evening? How do you spend your time before the witching hour comes?
Most likely, Nassara tries to find at least one of the other group members to talk with and, wait away the time.
Okay. It does sound like Roth, Nassara, and Telandir all frequent the feral dog in the evening.
Getting into a scrap right before a meeting is probably not the best idea. So she may avoid it tonight.
Then where
she
does
may
she
meet
go?
them outside of it, but...
Well, where does she go then? You haven't answered my question.
I think I'd hang out at the Emporium instead of the feral dog tonight.
Okay. So
I know
gambling.
Gillian's there.
So if Gillian's playing, I'm going to go and sit in the crowd and smack my flagon on the table at the right times to try and get the crowd moving. Because I know that if Gillian does well, we all do well.
He shares his money with you?
Well, he's not sharing his money with me, but one day when he's like rich and famous, we'll be able to feed more kids.
What about you, Ralph?
I think Ralph would be at the feral dog. Those are his people. As dangerous as it is, he's I don't know. That's just where he's at home, and so.
Okay. And Ilya, spinning plate again tonight, or?
I'm trying to think. He's probably at the plate for now, but he will be, because if I remember properly on that map, it's kind of up there, and he would be working his way kind of south and then southeast.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what's going on. He's probably finishing up at the plate before heading out.
Okay. So, Gillian, tell us about what song you're performing, or what series of songs you're performing, and then give us a performance check.
Well, you mean like in addition to what I described earlier, or what?
Yeah,
more...
expand on that a little bit.
All right. So what did I say? I said that these were working songs for the most part, very, very kind of local heritage kind of stuff, and preoccupation. So I think one or two of them are. So the work songs are probably pretty light, simple. Probably go by. They probably don't even have a name. It's just tunes that people know, and they'll find themselves humming them while they're doing little domestic tasks or whatever, without even thinking about them. But he's put them to music and has put a little flair on them. I think there's one or two. I can't think of a name off the top of my head, but the Ballad of blah blah blah. that are kind of local folklore, mythology stuff about the local like woods or some local myth. And then there's probably one that he'll end with that is known by everybody in the entire region, but everybody has a different name for it. Different areas may even have different verses for it that they swap in or out. But the cadence and the melody is always the same, and it always has the same chorus, regardless.
Yeah.
Don't really have a name, but that kind of vibe is what I'm thinking
Love
he'd
it.
be doing.
Give us a performance check, please. Everyone also, you can start with heroic inspiration, by the way.
Rise of the Heroes of Heronshire? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this little one. He's
Shameless
like, "Ooh, I heard
self-promotion."
about this. Performance. Here we go.
How's a feather
17's
to your
pretty
bard,
good.
right?
Okay.
that's pretty
So, you can't hover.
You click details, it shows you the rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just you do have to click something in order to see it.
It's not hovering. Maybe too many of those hovering things get stuck on your screen that they said we got to get rid of this.
Yeah, quite. That's quite possible. Definitely. All right. So then, Gillian, it's been a good evening for it. Your set went well. They turned things over. Definitely got people in the drinking spirit. So it's going to be a little more drinks, a little less gambling, I guess, tonight. But drinks do tend to make for poor judgment, which means people are spending money on more of Zalamandra's men and women of comfort. So it will be a good night at the Emporium. And then it gets close to the time. All of you slip out and make your way over to the designated spot. Keold's forces are watching at night. So I would like everyone to give us a stealth check, please. Or if you plan on using any kind of spell or ability, just let us know what you're using to help with making your way over there. You can roll with advantage, too. There's plenty of... Yeah, is there a way of automatically rolling advantage?
I was just looking at that in the settings to see if there's
Up at the top of the page, it says advantage, disadvantage, and automatic. And I don't know exactly.
Click on automatic, please, just because this...
Okay, so I'm going to click on automatic.
One less roll we need to make.
And then I'm going to click on stealth, and let's see what happens.
Mine was already on automatic. It didn't roll.
No, it didn't roll twice, I don't think.
Huh.
No, it just rolled the once.
Yeah.
But if I click on advantage...
advantage to see what happens.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's what it should
So
do.
that'll give you the 2.
Do you want us to just turn it on for always?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can turn it on for always, and then for disadvantage, we can roll it otherwise, or we can just take the lower of the 2. Awesome. Okay, so then, anyone who got more than 10, you're good.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah. So, you sneak out to meet up with... Let's see, will this actually drop? Hey, look at that.
These level 3 DCs, Kev, that's kind of strange. DC 10? DC 10? Really? We're good?
Yeah.
It's probably against the passive perception, so.
Yeah. Okay, so, and this is... Eris Sandovar. Maris, I imagine if Ilya is going to be one of the first ones there, he's the first to have met up with you. You've been chit-chatting a little bit about what's, what you've heard. Your rumor about the tension, if that's of interest to him, he's like, well, there's no love lost with the sheriff, certainly with Cubbin. Did something happen recently to bring it to a head? And Ilya, you're not sure. You've not heard anything.
I was going to say, I don't think I have that information.
I wonder if they haven't taken any steps against them, then that's one thing, but something to be aware of. If you hear anything more about that, I would be interested to hear. They tolerated Cubbins' role through the whole occupation, for them to suddenly stand up to him. I wonder if something is coming.
I don't know. They could be looking to change how that's administered.
Question: Do we know about Ilya's background? Would he have shared that?
Yeah, I'm curious. Actually, I don't know. Ilya, do your companions or do the other members of your cell, do they know at this point that you're...
I think out of everybody, Rolf does, because they're both basically from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really think that's the one that really knows. I don't think the rest of them really know his full backstory.
Yeah.
Gillian is from here as well, although I mean I can understand why you might... No, I don't mean because of the...
We can easily say that Gillian is like, he's from here, but he's like from the region, so he's like maybe...
Yeah, that's true.
Like, he could be from a hamlet that's like where Westkeep is the town. Yeah. And then he's from a hamlet that's nearby. He would like, you know, so he wouldn't be in town prior to moving here.
Okay. So then, yeah, that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just curious because Nasara would have been secretive about her background. So,
Ralph, did you say that Nasara's would be secretive about it?
She would not be.
Would not be.
She's not a big holder of secrets. I mean,
she will not shut the fuck up about it. So, Ralph, you were the next one to arrive. What do we see when Ralph and Ilya greet one another?
I don't know. I think that would be a little bit up to Ilya because Ralph is very friendly and would be like, you know, maybe too in the space if not kept at bay. You know, a bro hug kind of thing, you know.
There you go.
Okay.
So if you let that happen, if you let that happen, then it's going to happen. If you're sort of standoffish and keep
Maris will let that happen. Maris is definitely he's older than you. Like he's from like, you know, a 10-year older generation at least. But he'll have known you since you were a kid too, Ralph.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. Likewise for Ilya. Ilya, have you told Maris?
I don't know if he had to tell Maris.
Okay. So
Maris might have figured it out on his own.
Yeah.
You know, is kind of what his feeling is.
Ralph, remind me again, what was your rumor?
Oh, sorry. The demon boy. It's missing.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's not of interest to Maris. He doesn't give a shit about that.
No, and I don't even know that I would bring that up necessarily.
Fair enough. I think the next would be our other three. So Sarah, Telandir, and Gillian. Telandir and Nasara, you guys, I guess, would have been at least passingly familiar with one another from the feral dog. Telandir and Gillian, apart from him being a performer and being a local, Gillian, are you involved at all with the War Orphans?
The War Orphan
that Telandir is involved herself with?
I could be.
You don't need to be. I mean, like, if Nisara and Telandir know one another, she could just be like not only a friend of a friend, but also more to the point, just someone who happens to be working in your cell that you just don't know that well.
Well, Nasara would help Telandir out with the orphans too fast. She's just not forthcoming about things. So
that could be what you're doing.
Me, like, again, this is literally like ferrying orphans in and out kind of thing, or like a... No,
there's more showing up.
There's more, so just caring for them and like as they arrive, like, okay, yeah. I mean, almost certainly that sounds like something Gillian would have clung to or got himself into. Right?
Probably how we connected then.
Yeah. So then you guys are greeted by Maris. Gillian, you would know him as well. As soon as you were old enough to come to town, you would have been aware of sort of who he was. Actually, maybe not, because he is a local boy, but it may be like Ilya, the circumstance with Ilya, where you never really, once you did come to town, he was sort of off doing his own thing because he was a scout.
Mhm.
You know, Telendir and Nasara, you definitely would have long connections. You in particular, Nasara, with Maris. While he's not a ranger or anything like that, he'd be aware of the presence of the Bronzewood Lodge and would rely on them during the occupation for that.
Yeah, the way I think of it, Maris is probably the person who brought Nasara into town in order to do it. So he's the reason she's here.
Okay. So, when the three of you arrive to meet up with the rest, what do we see as sort of a greeting among each other? Ralph, who do you hug?
Yeah. Anyone who's,
Ralph's like a big brother.
This is my crew. These are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you hug Nasara, you get the stiff kind of thing but not the pull back thing. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is happening.
It's like Ralph does the Key and Peele thing where he's like, hey, and then he's like, yeah, Ilya, and he's like, yeah, Nisara, how are you?
And what about Ralph and Gillian?
I feel like Ralph is the one person in this cell that Gillian just like. I'll work with him, and we've but it's more of a Gillian's tolerating the situation. He doesn't say much around him. He doesn't necessarily he's never really completely trusted him, kind of thing. Like, beyond it's a professional relationship.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Okay.
I don't know, Jeff. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Okay. So then, with all of you together, Telendir's. So Gillian's rumor about the mage, the army, fly out running the things like that. That is definitely something that.
Yeah.
And your friend was certain there was no mistaking. It was the mark of Tensor.
That's what he is adamant. I mean, this is Andrew kind of thinking out loud here, but I mean, he's my farming buddy. He's not a historian. He's not a scholar. He may have been wrong. He may have misseen something, but he seemed very convinced of what he saw.
Yeah, and then it's something that Maris
it seems like it would be such a this is not it's such a unique thing. One would not make up a story about seeing that particular banner.
No. And for one of the Circle of Eight to not only be alive still, but also be here. If the Eight has taken interest in Westkeep, what does that mean? We just got the Scarlet Brotherhood out. We've got the Alisha occupying. We don't need a foreign mage coming in to try and lay claim to this place.
Certainly, it can't be anything good. Of course, it bears saying that everybody thought or thinks Tensor is dead. There's no reason to believe that this isn't somebody just using and trying to create the idea that Tensor is alive and use that name. So before we conclude too much about this, I say we keep an eye on it, but let's not assume too much.
And then Telendir, your rumor, what was it again?
The right hand of Balabar Smenk.
Oh, yes.
Nestle
that is
not been seen for 2 weeks.
So is Smenk vulnerable now? That is
certainly jumpy and off.
That is something I will pass along then. Very interesting. When the richest guy in town suddenly starts acting squirrely, that is definitely something you want to know why he's doing that. So, but
where did he side in the previous occupation? Like he got rich with the Scarlet Brotherhood in place?
He definitely benefited from it, but was not a
supporter.
But was not beholden to them.
So it's just like grease the right palms before, grease the right palms after. It doesn't really matter.
The Scarlet Brotherhood invasion was so quick that those who would have opposed were dead, pretty quickly, as Ilya's family can attest to. Those that were, imagine the intelligence apparatus they've had with a millennia of preparation. They would have had plenty of opportunity to know precisely who they needed to keep around, or at least have the apparatus in place to know that. But we don't have much time. The witching hour passes soon. The session is almost over. You've heard the rumors of the trio from Keoland who had plundered the Sturge Nest Cairn. We know that the Brotherhood was particularly interested in several of these cairns. One of them was the Sturge Nest Cairn. I don't know who leaked information to that trio, but I think it is not a coincidence that they suddenly arrived and went out in search of that place.
One of them's a seeker.
That is very interesting. I cannot make more. You're certain of this?
Who was it that had that in their?
Kelek, the human wizard.
Kelek, the human wizard. But which of us knew that or had learned it?
I think you did tell.
Okay.
Not as a rumor, but when you were inventing someone else. Yeah.
Just talking to Tira, maybe?
Then what I think... No, there would have been something you picked up. Oh, it was one of you who rolled really well it was Gillian. Gillian learned that he was a seeker.
Yeah. In the persuasion checks when we were
trying to learn about those three. So Gillian knew all about, he's a seeker. So he's down here. For them to have reacted that quickly when the Scarlet Brotherhood retreated, that's perhaps an explanation for it. But there is another one as well. And Routh and Ilya would know about this place because it's something that kids talk about. So about a day's travel from here, there is a sprawling series of mines that were active for a very long time. And one of the places that was in there is a place called the Whispering Cairn.
Ooh.
Kids would overnight in there for dares and things like that, or at least they did prior to the invasion of the Scarlet Brotherhood. People have kind of lost track of where the Whispering Cairn is, or at least they did. I know that, and he pulls out some plans. Who is literate here? Is everyone literate?
Well, it depends on the language.
Wow. I mean, geez, Kevin.
I think
because we are all part of a farming community.
Not only am I literate, but I have navigator tools.
So, Telandir, you're the one who's got calligraphy, I believe. Does anyone else have calligraphy? You got navigator's tools?
Yes.
Or cartographer's tools?
Specifically navigators, I think, is what it...
Okay, anyone have cartographer's tools?
No, carpenters for some reason, but because I'm a farmer, that makes sense.
Okay, so then what he shows you does anyone have the ability to create magical light?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm very good at that.
So if he would do that, so he'll ask you to create a dim light. So
produce flame. It's a dim light.
There you go. What he has, and he sort of spreads over the back of one of the barrels behind the general store, is a map that is of the sort of the mining that is done out there. And there are recent markings that have been put on this map. And it indicates where the Whispering Cairn is. If the Whispering Cairn is anything like what the Sturge Nest Cairn is, then what you can expect is that it is bigger than expected. It is full of dangers, and it is full of other secrets. If this Kelek is part of the Seekers, there is very little chance that he shared what they actually found in there. We know from similar maps, the Scarlet Brotherhood had marked the Sturge Nest Cairn. They've also marked the Whispering Cairn. The Kaolish don't seem to know this yet. And if the Scarlet Brotherhood is still here and is still around, they do not have these maps any longer, at least not the originals. What you need to do is travel out to the mines, explore the full extent of the Whispering Cairn, and tell us why it was of interest to the Scarlet Brotherhood. He gestures down to another place, and here, this is the former mining office. It has been abandoned for more than 40 years, but it should still have enough of a structure you can use that as your staging ground for exploration of the cairn. But the trip there is a day of overland travel through dangerous terrain. The mines, though abandoned, may have been occupied by dangerous things, so you should take care. As much as you can, fortify that place and take your time to fully explore whatever is in the Whispering Cairn. I take it, between all of you, you should be able to excuse yourself from tasks here long enough to complete this task?
Yeah. And if we find anything within? Or is there certain items you're looking for? Certain items that...
We don't know what was in there. We know it was of interest to the Scarlet Brotherhood, and apparently the Seekers are aware of whatever the Scarlet Brotherhood was aware of. We know that the Kaolish took information from here. There was intelligence taken by the Kaolish forces back to Keoland. Whether the Seekers intercepted that or otherwise gained access to it or had independently learned of it, we don't know.
Do you think the Seekers have a spy within the Kaolish army?
Whether within the Kaolish army, whether within the Westkeep, we don't know. But whatever is in there, Westkeepers should have access to it.
Okay.
Any questions?
This seems more worthy of our skills.
Yeah, we heading out in the morning?
Yep.
I'll trust you to tell me when you are back. Then, I wish you all luck with it.
Thanks, Maris.
He turns and places his hand on the barrel for a free Westkeep.
For a free Westkeep.
Free Westkeep.
Okay. And with that, the witching hour having passed, and us a little over time, we bring our first session of the Orphans of Westkeep to a close. So congratulations, guys. We're going to do milestone leveling in this one rather than XP, because we have a roadmap for this particular thing. So then, guys, we don't need to go back to the main screen. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. If you happen to know the source of what I am going to be relying on for this adventure and for our mini campaign, be warned, no spoilers. Any spoilers will not only be deleted, that person may be blocked. So, fair warning, nobody share spoilers that would ruin the fun for the viewers at home or for our players, more importantly.
Yeah, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're just making this up. This is an actual adventure?
This is leading in. It's unsurprisingly, a pretty modified one, but yes. So, As further, but that said, absent any spoilers, please feel free to leave a comment down below. If you do a Google search for some of the keywords we're looking for too, you might spoil it for yourself. So if you do want to avoid that, just avoid looking up anything relating to some of the key named things we have in this adventure. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where we have channels dedicated to most of the games and campaigns we run on the channel, including our Night Below campaign. There's also a 5th edition D&D channel, as well as things like Finder Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat. If you're looking to play some Dark Sun 2nd edition, for instance, somebody is still looking for players for that, at least at the time of recording. You are more than welcome to join us over there. There's a helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly community, so you can join by the link down below. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. I still don't have an updated discount code, unfortunately, so I cannot share that with you, but if you do not have something in stock that you're looking for, you can put it on the want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. They also frequently have other sales, and I'll email when we finish up the session my contact there, and we'll get the current discount code. So if you're listening to this after January 7th, 2026, just come back to one of our more recent videos, and we'll have the current discount code listed there. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart heroes, the Orphans of Westkeep themselves. Jeffrey, John, Dave, Andrew, and Will, thank you so much for playing tonight and for introducing us to these incredible heroes who are about to have just terrible, fucking terrible things happen to them. So we'll be back in 1 week's time to see our heroes preparing for their expedition to the Whispering Cairn. But until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are encountering as they're trying to make their life in this post-occupation Westkeep. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.
See ya.